Okay, I apologise in advance. The next question could be very interesting.
Last time you guys came down, I was talking to Katie, and after a short but interesting conversation, she said I could kidnap them all if I gave jelly babies. But I thought I'd skip the kidnapping, but I did bring the jelly babies.
Are you kidding?
No? Oh my
Come
God.
on. All I saw was her clutching jelly babies. There we go.
So in answer to your question, jelly babies is the most random thing I've ever gotten. But more.
You got a question for this young man here.
How come that in like the legend, Merlin's supposed to be really, really old, but in this he's like only a young man?
Well, I mean, when we sat down and wanted to explore the legends of Merlin, and we were at the very early stages of developing the television show, we were looking at all of the different stories that have been told about Merlin. And I'm getting a bit of feedback. And we were looking at, and the one thing that we realised that hadn't really been done was Merlin as a young boy. And so that's what sort of was the starting point, was what if we start telling the story about Merlin, and it's a classic story of empowerment, that a young man discovers that he has magic, and how that affects him. So it was a deliberate decision in the end not to tell a story about a pointy-hatted wizard with a long beard, but to wind the clock right back and to use the mythology as an ending point rather than a beginning point.
Obviously we know the legends take on the love triangle between Arthur, Gwen and Lancelot, but I wanted to know who you think would be best for Gwen, Arthur or Lancelot?
Oh, it's a difficult one. Who would be best for Gwen? Possibly Lancelot, in a more sort of real sense, because he's more sort of on her level status-wise. But then Arthur has got a very good heart, so I can't choose. It's going to have to be both.
Plus, you get to.
Merlin recently finished airing in America, and I was wondering how you felt about opening the show up to a wider audience.
Well, for me, as one of the co-creators of the show, it was hugely exciting that because whenever you make a television show, you're not making it just for a British audience. You hope that it will have a sort of a worldwide appeal. And it's always very difficult sometimes to sell your shows abroad, especially in America, because there's much more of a tradition of English people buying American shows rather than the other way around. So we were really thrilled when NBC picked it up, and I think we were the first English show in 30 years to go on on NBC or on an American television channel. So that was hugely exciting for us. So I think your aim as a program maker is always that you reach a widest audience as possible. So the fact that Merlin, got shown in America was a huge thrill for us. How did you guys feel?
Yeah, we just listened to ourselves dubbed into Japanese before we came in, which was, you got to listen to Tony. He sounds amazing.
No, it's really exciting. It's such a pleasure to be involved in a show that has been so well received, around the world. It's quite incredible, and it's a great fun show to do. So yeah, I'm pleased it's been such a success.
What's it like working with Anthony Head?
Lovely. Yeah, I don't have a lot to do with him, and my character doesn't like him very much, obviously, because he executed my dad unnecessarily. But in general, no, Tony's absolutely lovely. He's a lovely guy, really kind, really funny, and a complete professional. If you ever need any advice, then he'd always be there to give it. So yeah, he's lovely. You have more stuff to do with him, don't you?
Strangely, my character doesn't like him much either. It's funny that. If ever a person could be less like the character they play, Tony is nothing like Uther. He is not only very, very sweet, but so much fun on set and always up for a laugh. And because we film quite long hours and quite over a long period of time, but he's still, and the rest of the cast make it fun every day. So we are very lucky to be working with him and Richard and Bradley and Colin. So.
Hello, Angel. I love you.
Oh,
so great. I want to ask kind of a geeky question.
Okay.
How old do you think Guinevere and Morgana and Merlin and Arthur are to each other? Because we know Arthur's like 21. Is Guinevere older than him, or?
I think Guinevere is about the same age, but emotionally a lot more mature. I think they're all around 21, 21, 22 maybe.
Well, in our kind of minds, as we sit in the story conferences, Morgana is the oldest. She's a bit older than Arthur, but that becomes an important story point.
Hello. Have you got any advice for any newcomer actors that want to get on TV?
People always ask.
Don't do it.
What was that?
Don't do
it. Advice. God, it's hard because there's so many things that you want to say, but to distill it down to one thing.
I think
do it because it's fun, because it's a hard job and you have to love it.
don't do it for the money.
Yeah, don't do it for the money. But no, it's really difficult. And so if you love it, it makes it worth it, and the hard times then are easier.
And also to appreciate that a lot of the roles you get are down to, obviously, talent, but luck as well. You know, if the people casting you have an idea in their head of what they want, and you don't fit into that, then you might not get the job. It doesn't necessarily mean you're not good at what you do. So you just have to kind of persevere and don't take it too seriously, because it's kind of, you know, we play for a living.
And I think the other thing to do as well, if you want to go into acting, is that you have to kind of work on two levels. You have to develop a very thick skin, because you're going to deal with a lot of rejection, whilst at the same time you can't lose your sensitivity and your honesty about yourself, because that's where your performance and your acting will come by. So you need to sort of develop a thick skin whilst retaining your sensitivity and your humanity, and I think that's the biggest challenge for actors, because it's such an incredibly tough profession, where there are hundreds and hundreds of people that audition for every part. So you have to be tough, but at the same time you have to keep your honesty and your sensitivity. Also, I'd get some training. If you haven't been to drama school, go to drama school.
If you hadn't have become actresses, what other careers could you see yourselves in?
To be honest, I've never really wanted to do anything else, and I'm very lucky that I'm able to do this job. I don't know, what would I do? Maybe something helpful, helping people in some way. I don't know how.
God, you're so noble.
Something like that.
I think I would have liked to do something that involved me being able to read all day. So I think I would have ended up working in a university, researching things and sitting in a library for 12 hours a day. Sounds pretty nice.
Was it deliberate ploy to leave the 3 tinnies in the other week? In the scene, and if so, which brand was it?
I haven't seen this.
I know what brand it is.
It was a very, very cheap brand of beer, because we don't have much money to make it. There are 2 answers to that question. The first answer is, if you look very carefully at every episode of Merlin, there's always something there for the audience to look out for, and the people spotted those tins. The second answer could be, it was a mistake. You can choose which one, but I'd have to say that as I mentioned earlier, that all of our episodes of Merlin, because of the shooting schedule, we're delivering them unbelievably late. So the fact that it actually arrived at the BBC on time and that the CGI was in there and intact, I think you can forgive a few cans of lager.
We've already seen that Gwen has become a love interest for Lancelot and Arthur. Is there any planning for a love interest for Merlin, even if it is a one-off thing?
Keep watching the series.
The short answer.
What was it like to film the Troll episode that was aired yesterday?
Hilarious. Literally ongoing laughs for the 6 weeks that we filmed both of them. Sarah Parish was unbelievable. How a woman that beautiful can be so repulsive is beyond me.
We had great fun in the sound mix, having a very long and in-depth and intense conversation about what her farts would sound like. We also had very intense conversations about what she should look like, whether she should dribble. So it was really good fun, because you were being incredibly childish whilst at the same time being unbelievably serious.
Time for Angel Colby, Katie McGrath, and the man who makes Merlin possible, Johnny Cabs.
Thank you. Thank you for the jelly babies.